welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm Teacher Oakley. Had a little problem finding my broadcast button, but I'm here now. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. How was your weekend?
So good, but first and second, we had snow, not so heavy. But when I woke up, the roofs on the river, mountains all covered by snow, white.
Nice.
White New Year's Day.
Oh, that's great. That's terrific. And hello, Julietta. Julietta.
Hi, teacher.
Hi. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Welcome to the class. And hello to Max. Hello again, Max. Howdy, howdy. Okay.
Good morning again.
Good morning again. Okay, in this class, we will turn our attention to, hello everyone, by the way, welcome to Verbling. I'm Teacher Oakley, and we're going to turn our attention to learning some vocabulary to talk about nature, the environment, natural surroundings, a little maybe geology, perhaps. In any case, I do have to say that I have noticed, especially in doing a lot of work with IELTS and TOEFL, that this is an area of vocabulary which seems to be not talking about anybody in the room, of course, but seems to be largely ignored in second language learning. So hopefully I'm hopeful that this will help a lot of you out. Talking about the environment seems to be particularly difficult for many second language users. Okay, a slew of people have joined us, so let me quickly welcome Germain. Hello again. Germain.
Hi again. Hi. Good
Hi,
night.
hi. And Claudio is again with us. Hello, Claudio again.
Hi, hi.
And hi, hi. And Ali. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello again. And Mulham is
Hello,
also
Oakley.
with us. Hello, Mulham.
How are you?
Okay. All right. Here we go. First, we're going to look at, take a look at this, and I'm going to do a screen share. We're going to take a look at this beautiful scene. Not really. Okay, a drawing of a beautiful scene. And we're going to attempt to identify the natural features of this scene. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Now, we've got words up above here. River, lake, island, waterfall, mountains, rocks, cave. All right. What is what? Heidi, starting with you. Picture number 1. What do we have here?
Forest.
That looks like a forest to me, indeed. Okay. Excellent. Julietta, how about number 2? What's this?
Number 2 is a waterfall.
Right, here we go. Here's a waterfall. All right. I love waterfalls. I grew up in the mountains, and I love swimming near the waterfalls. Okay, what's this? Number 3, Max.
I guess
Notice the arrow.
it's a cave.
Looks like a cave or a big black boogeyman.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, it's probably a cave. We have to use our imagination a little bit. Okay, very good. Germain, what is this?
Rocks.
Rocks? Could be. Well, yeah, there are rocks, but I think more of this. If you're up here, Germain, and you jump off here,
Cliffs.
Yeah. Hi, Xingyu. Yes, probably. I think the main feature here are the cliffs. All right.
Cliffs.
Steep. Okay. Steep rocks with a long descent.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Claudio. Number 5. Now this is a little more challenging. What is this over here?
Oh, well, I guess that's rocks.
I guess these are rocks here.
Yeah,
All right. Right. Okay. Another word which is not on our list here, by the way, but when you have a rising hill, often with a beautiful view, particularly near the water like this also is called a bluff. A bluff, as a noun. Okay. Well, we're not done because we've got something else to look at here. All right.
Okay, very quickly. Cliffs, it's uncountable. Cliff, one cliff,
No.
2 cliffs.
1 cliff, 2 cliffs. It's countable.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. We passed a series of cliffs in our hike. No, it's definitely countable. Okay, we're going to continue. Ali, what do you think is number 6? What is this trying to show us? Ali,
It's a
are you
valley?
there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's a valley?
Well, it's a valley. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that is true. It is a valley. But as in most valleys, really,
River.
there's a river.
River.
Yeah, I know it's not that great a picture, but yeah, there's a river in the valley. But of course, that's extremely common, obviously. Okay. All right. How about number 7? Let me ask Moham.
I think it's a lake.
Okay, it's enclosed by land. It's a body of water enclosed by land. That looks like a lake to me. Yes. Okay. But if that's a lake, okay. What is number 8? I think this is the main feature. Xingyu.
Island.
Island. Okay, out here looks like the sea, maybe. And here's an island. Okay, very good. Let's see. Is it Edward? Edward, hello. We had another student join us. I didn't say hello to yet. Is it Edward or Edmund? Edward, are you there? Hello, hello. Ed. I'm not sure if it's Edwin, Edward, Edgar.
Hello, teacher. Sí.
Hi. Is it Edgar?
Edgardo.
Edgardo. Thank you. Okay, Edgardo, welcome to the class. Let's take a look at number 9. What is this feature, natural feature, called?
I don't know. It's a mountain, maybe.
Mountains, probably. Okay, very good. Mountains, obvious. It could be especially in this picture. Might be peaks, mountains. All right, you seem to be very sharp. So mountains, and then finally, number 10. Heidi, back to you.
Valley.
There's a valley. Okay, clearly there's no river in there. It's just a valley. Okay. A stream is smaller than a river. Hills are lower than mountains. Okay. Mountain ranges. a lot of mountains in a row is a mountain range, and that actually you can be talking about 3 or 4 mountains in a row, or hundreds, like the Andes or the Himalayas. It could be just 3 or 4. We hike the entire mountain range in one day. Okay. Forests and woods are very similar, but we always use forest when it's very, very large. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little bit different and look at some co-locations. Now, this is the area where really often lacking for students. Let's take a look at this. Let's try this out. Julietta, match these adjectives, adjective combinations. We got a couple, and the noun that it should go with them. So just read this.
Thick or dense?
Yeah, and what does that go with?
Forest?
Thick or dense forest. Yes, indeed. Means the trees are tightly packed together. It's very dark. Okay. All right, thick or dense forest. Very good. Max.
Fertile or arid? I don't know. Path? Maybe. I don't know. Path?
No. No.
I don't know.
Well, okay, let's talk about fertile and arid. What is the meaning here? Fertile. Okay, what does fertile mean? What does that even mean? Fertile. Something's fertile.
I mean, that's why I don't know.
Okay. If it's fertile, it means that it can grow many things.
It's like fruitful.
Yes, very similar, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Fertile, you can grow many things. Arid, kind of, it means
Maybe
dry.
Sea, land.
Land. Yes. Fertile or arid land. Right. If it's fertile, it's good land to grow food on, for example. If it's arid, not so much, because it's very dry and there's not enough water. Okay. Sure. Germain? Are you still here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hill?
No. We couldn't just describe a hill as a mountain. Secondly, first of all, Germain, winding. It's winding. To wind means it goes back and forth.
Okay.
So, all right, what goes back and forth? Winding.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we've used forest, we've used land, and it's not hill, so that leaves shore or path. But mountain shore makes no sense at all. So the answer is winding or mountain path. A trail on a mountain is a mountain path, mountain trail, or a winding path. Okay, it goes back and forth. We also use winding very commonly with river, because of course rivers tend to do that as well. Back and forth. Okay, number 4, Claudio.
Okay, and steep or gently hill.
Steep or gentle hill. Yeah. Steep means it's really hard to climb. Gentle, much easier to climb. Gentle grade. By the way, the degree of angle of which a hill or mountain climbs at is called the grade. A 10% grade would be pretty much maximum for a road or highway. That's quite steep for a road. For skiers, for example, skiing down a mountain, 45% grade is actually extremely steep. That would be an expert ski trail. That's actually very steep. Of course, if you're up to like a 80% grade, then you're basically looking off a cliff. Okay. Next one, Ali.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sandy or rocky. It could be shore.
Have to be shore. All right.
Yeah.
Shore, the beach, the coast.
Yeah.
All right. Right. Sandy or rocky shore. Okay. Very good. And the shore, by the way, can be seashore, all right, or lake shore. Okay. It can be the edge of the water. It could be by the ocean, by the sea, or by a lake. Either one is fine.
The lake side. The lake to side.
Could be. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try some more adjectives. Okay. Put two of the following adjectives with the opposite meanings in front of each of the nouns. So two adjectives that go with the noun following. Mulham, what two adjectives can we use with countryside?
We can use I guess hilly and low.
I think we're going to need low a little later. Low, okay. Now, okay, you're not entirely wrong. We do use we commonly use these words, these collocations. We commonly talk about the high country and the low country. That's actually common, but not normally countryside. We don't say high countryside. We just say the high country. Means it's high in elevation. A low country, obviously, low in elevation, probably marshy, swampy, probably quite wet, the low country. But we don't normally use it with countryside. Hilly, yes. Hilly or flat. The hilly, lots of hills, or flat, countryside. These would go with countryside. Okay, right.
So flat doesn't has any hill, right? Like hilly has many hills, and flat doesn't have any hill.
That's right. Okay, that's absolutely correct. Sometimes you may hear flatlands to talk about a flat countryside. That's also possible. All right. Xingyu, how about number 7? Which adjectives go with tide? Xingyu? Yeah. High and low tide, of course. High tide and low tide. Okay, Xingyu, how many high tides every day?
How many high tide? I don't know your question.
How many high tides are there every day? There's a high tide and a low tide. First of all, okay, do you know what that means?
I don't know.
Okay, well, the tide is the movement of the oceans, right?
Oh.
The water,
High tide.
high tide and low tide, okay, as because of the moon's gravitational pull, it affects the ocean's water level, actually, okay? The gravity changes. So high tide, the water's higher. If you're observing the ocean, the water comes up higher, high tide, and low tide, the water recedes. Okay.
I know this. I know this.
All right.
Maybe it has maybe it has one time. Oh, maybe it has once every day.
Well, a high tide and a low tide. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Is that true, everybody? High tide, low tide, once a day?
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice a day.
That's what I thought. Twice a day, actually. You have a high tide and a low tide. It occurs twice a day, which I've never. Why is that? There's only one moon. Why does it affect twice? I don't know. Okay. Edgardo, you still here? Yes, you are. Okay, that leaves what goes with river.
Deep and shallow.
Okay. All right. Very good. Deep and shallow. What other words can we use deep and shallow for? Natural words. Deep river, shallow river. What else?
Deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts, shallow thoughts. That's true. Absolutely. Actually, of course, we can use it for ocean, a deep ocean, a shallow ocean. Not really sure. A body of water, deep or shallow lake, deep or shallow river. Okay, any body of water.
Wide and narrow.
Wide and narrow. Okay.
Wide and narrow river.
River.
River. Oh, all right. Different adjectives, right? Okay. I should address Zinya's comment. Deep and shallow thoughts. Yes, if a person is. Sometimes we also use these adjectives to just as an analogy to talk about deep or shallow water, deep or shallow thoughts, or a deep or shallow person. A deep person he thinks very deeply. A shallow person only thinks about the surface of things. Okay. All right.
A question. Okay. Is the same thing happen with narrow, like narrow relationship, and a narrow dialogue, like?
Yes, narrow. We have a narrow focus in our meeting today. Yeah, we can definitely use narrow and wide with as adjectives to discuss abstract ideas.
Can I use narrow to a way to see the world, like if a people has a narrow way to see the society?
Yeah, narrow view, we might say, or of course we have narrow-minded.
Narrow-minded. It's in a better way to see the people, of course.
Yeah, it's negative. Yeah.
It's negative. Yeah.
It's definitely negative. You're narrow-minded. You're not open to new ideas. Now, okay, since you brought it up, a narrow-minded person has their own views, and they tend not to entertain ideas of other ways to do things, less traditional. But we don't say wide-minded. Well, I have heard that before. I can't say we don't say it, but it's not. Narrow-minded is very common. Usually, opposite, we say open-minded.
Open-minded.
We wouldn't say wide-minded. So those are kind of opposites: narrow-minded, open-minded. Okay. Mulham, what is your? We don't really have a shallow shore. The lake can be shallow near the shore.
I mean, like if we have a beach and it's easy to swim in it because it doesn't has a deep water level. So what should we call this beach or this shore?
Okay. All right. All right. when we're talking about, I understand what you're meaning. We're talking about how the water goes down once you get off the actual sandy beach or whatever. We often use the expression drop-off, a drop-off, a noun. All right, there's a steep drop-off right offshore, so be careful. It's a very shallow drop-off. So, okay, that case we can use shallow because it drops off. Obviously, it goes down because that's where the water is. But it goes. We can also use a gentle drop-off, a steep drop-off, a sharp drop-off, an abrupt drop-off. Actually, there's a number of other adjectives we use with a drop-off. So if that's what you're talking about, how quickly does the water go down? How quickly does it get deeper? We often talk about, instead of grade for a mountain or a hill, we talk about the drop-off. Okay. Okay, we're going to now use some of these adjectives to fill in the blank. Make sure we know what we're talking about here. Heidi, first just read the sentence and put in an appropriate adjective.
At low tide, we can walk across the sand to that island.
Okay. Heidi, have you ever experienced a place in the ocean where at low tide you can walk way, way far out?
When I was a child, my family was living just in front of the seashore. Then there are the small island, smaller than island, like rock. Then when at the low tide, there appeared some, what to say, sandbar.
Yes, very good.
Connected that big rock, so we can go there to fish or getting some shells.
Excellent. Okay, that's exactly the word I wanted to introduce, a sandbar. When usually at low tide, sometimes the water goes down and it exposes some new land that wasn't there before, often sand. And you can sometimes walk very far out on a sandbar. Just don't get caught out there. Don't lose track of time.
Yeah, I have a question regarding tide phenomena.
Sure.
I think that in my language or in other language, it can be or it could be a two word, not one word, because it's happening two phenomena. So I can differentiate between the two phenomena. Yeah, I think that it can be a high tide.
Mm-hmm.
It can be low to another. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we.
Do you understand?
I think so. We often say the tide's coming in, the tide's going out when we're talking about which direction it seems to be moving right now.
Yeah.
Looks like the tide's coming in. Oh, the tide's going out. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Julieta, sentence number 10 here.
Cycling into work is okay, but cycling home isn't easy. There is a really steep hill.
Steep hill, okay, great. Let's see what you guys remember. A steep hill, right. Steep hills and bicycles, not much fun, at least going up them. Okay. You ever, Julieta, you ever bicycle up steep hills?
Yes.
Yes.
Many times.
Many times. Okay. Good exercise. Okay, Max, sentence 11.
We should be able to get across the river here. It's quite shallow here.
Okay. It's quite shallow. Okay. Very good. What do you call that it can be a noun or a verb, but if you cross a river where there's no, like in this case, where there's no bridge.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I didn't know the English. In English, this word.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting word. You
Broad sandbar?
no. When you get across a river or a stream, and sometimes you have to take special measures or do something, but you ford a river, especially if it's challenging. If you're just skipping over a couple rocks, well, yes, the verb applies, but usually we think more of taking a lot of effort. You ford a river that has no bridge. You
Okay.
obviously you cross a river, but ford specifically, this to ford is used for rivers.
And also by car?
Yeah. If you get across the river by car, yep. We forded the river in my Jeep. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Thank
possible. Don't get stuck. Okay, number 12, Germain.
Be careful if you go swimming here. The water is quiet. Could be shallow. The water is quite shallow.
Shallow? Well, it says be careful. So it's probably the opposite of shallow. Probably the water's quite deep.
Deep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, because it's be careful. You need to.
That's right. You need to be careful.
Okay.
Germain, what is the most dangerous place you've gone swimming before? And why was it dangerous?
Because it's deep. Maybe the Ocean Pacific.
The ocean? Okay. And why was it dangerous?
Because it's deep.
Because it's deep. All right. Very good. Also, if you're swimming in the ocean, you have to be very careful about currents. Even rivers or even lakes have currents. The way the water is flowing, like under the water. If the river is going very fast, we can say the current very hard. Has a very swift current, very fast current. Also, occasionally the ocean has something called rip. These are scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a river moving through the ocean, and if you get caught in it, you just get carried just like you were in a river. And they often curl around and drop you out in a bay or something. Yeah,
Okay.
one of my scariest swimming moments was getting caught in a riptide. Pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Claudio, number 13.
Okay. The land in this part of the country is very fertile. 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 I don't know
Fertile.
how-
Yeah, fertile.
We can grow anything here.
Okay. You, by the way, you will hear it pronounced fertile or fertile.
Fertile
hear-
or fertile.
You hear it both ways,
It's
frankly,
very
depending on.
close to the Portuguese word. That's the why I always pronounce the
Okay. All right. Okay. Fertile again, meaning you can grow lots of food on it. Terrific. Okay, Ali.
Yeah. The Netherlands is incredibly flat. There are hardly any hills at all.
Okay. Right. Incredibly flat. That's right. They have to actually, and low.
Yeah.
Flat is the better answer because it mentions hills, but right. Now the Netherlands is a good example of something we call low country. Not low countryside, but low country. Definitely, because it's very close to sea level. In fact, they have to use a system of dikes and such to prevent flooding. Definitely low country. Okay. Mulham, number 15.
Mushrooms grow best on floor of dense, damp forests.
Forests. Yeah, that's hard to say. Forests.
Forests.
Yeah, that's tough. Okay. We probably reduce this forests. We just forests and drag an S because that's difficult, really. S-T-S. It would be common to reduce pronunciation there.
So just forests?
Yeah, but drag that S a little. Like you just did, actually. That was a pretty good example. Yeah, like that. That would be common and normal. Like months. We don't really say N-T-H-S sound. We just say months. It's common to reduce these combinations of 3 consonants in a row. It's hard for native speakers, English speakers, to say. So they're very commonly reduced a little bit. All right, yeah, dense, damp forest, dark and dense. What does damp mean, Moam?
It's like wet, but usually we say them about grass or clothes.
Clothes, yeah. Take a damp cloth and wipe his head. All right, okay, that's true. But we can use it to describe areas too.
What means countryside?
Countryside. Okay, countryside. Basically, the area. Not obviously not in a city, not in suburbia. Countryside. Now, basically, an area with a lot of natural. There may be man-made structures like farms, for example, would be considered the countryside where there are farms. There may be people. It may be mountains. It may be hills. It may be plains. Maybe forests. So countryside basically means anything that and everything that's not a city or not in the ocean. It's very broad. It's a very broad term, actually.
Okay, thank you.
It's a good question. Okay, and actually, it's one that often gets confused. It's a very good question. When somebody asks me, I would not say I grew up in the countryside, but second language speakers always use countryside. The fact is, I would say I grew up in the country. Yeah, I grew up. I was a country kid, not a city kid. So we commonly, especially Americans, use country instead of countryside. I might say, oh, I really like Western United States. It's a really beautiful countryside because I'm talking about the natural views and scenes. Okay, wider specific place. Okay. Yes. Question 15. The answer is dense, damp forest. What's the meaning of round here? Where's round? Oh, we haven't done the question yet. Okay. Okay. No, it doesn't. Okay. Very British here in this next sentence, which, by the way, is for Xingyu. Xingyu, before you read it, let me just say round is very British. Americans say around. So meaning in the, not a circle, but in the general area of. Okay. There are a lot of dogs around my neighborhood. So certainly not exactly in a circle, but in the near vicinity. Xingyu, number 16.
Number 16. The countryside around here is very, very, very tiny. So not many people use a bike.
It's very what?
Tiny.
Very what? Hilly. Hilly.
Tiny.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Right.
Hilly.
Tiny.
Right. Right, right.
That's
Some people,
tiny.
that's right. No,
Tiny.
that would be right. That would be good. It's very hilly. All right, hilly countryside, so not many people like to bike. Okay, tides in at high tide. Okay, another co-location with your tides. The tide's in at high tide, the tide's out at low tide. These are also very common. Okay. Now let's see how we often describe countryside. Something you might have to do, for example, those who might be taking an IELTS or a TOEFL test. Okay, we're gonna, as we read along here, we're gonna take turns reading this. One of the clauses is going to be inappropriate. See if you can pick out which one, or the other way, which two are appropriate as we go along. Edgardo, I'm going to start with you. Just read along to about here.
Okay. My favorite part of England is Cornwall. There is some absolutely beautiful nature, countryside, scenery there.
Okay, which one seems not right?
Scenery.
Scenery? There's some absolutely beautiful scenery there. That's okay. Some absolutely beautiful countryside there. That's okay. There's some absolutely beautiful nature there. Sounds a little odd. Because nature we use as a broad idea of things that are not man-made. So that's very weird to say there's some absolutely beautiful not man-made there. That's a little odd. Or the idea of without the influence of man. So it's weird to say we saw some beautiful nature. Very, very common mistake. I hear this all the time from second language users. Oh, we went to such and such a place and we saw some beautiful nature. And it sounds very, very strange. So, okay, that's not good. All right, it's also just a weird collocation. Doesn't really fit. Okay, Heidi, how about next sentence starting here?
There's pretty little fishing village by the sea called Clovelly.
By the sea is fine. That's sure. Does on the coast work? There's a little fishing village on the coast called Clovelly.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay? All right. There's a little fishing village on the beach.
Village on the beach, a little strange.
A little strange. You can't put buildings on the beach. There's a reason you don't see, well, at least not many houses actually on the beach. You can see a beach house is not actually in the sand, all right? A beach house is going to be just past where the sand is, really, if you have any common sense. So there wouldn't be a village on the beach. The beach consists of the actual sand that borders the water and where plants or dunes or anything else starts. So you're right, that would be very weird. Okay, Julieta, from here.
There's a path that leads out of the village to a beautiful 14th century church.
Okay, leads out is okay.
And
Now
maybe goes out?
is also okay. Right. Follows out doesn't really work. Follows out, not a good. That doesn't really make sense. As a collocation, it can't really make that make sense. Right. Very good. Okay. Continuing on, Max.
Okay, first of all, some small question.
Sure.
Which adjective would be great with nature?
With nature.
Nice nature, or what?
Okay. Well, first of all, nature is a very broad term to talk about living ecosystems that are not influenced by human beings. So it's okay for me to say I love nature, or okay. What adjectives could you use with nature? Good question. If I'm talking about something I saw or experienced, I wouldn't use nature. Again, I would use scenery or countryside, or I wouldn't. It's very difficult. Now, nature, I would use natural, pristine natural surroundings, pristine nature, wild nature. Well, nature by definition is already wild. That's what it means, so that's weird. It's actually that's a difficult question, Max. Very difficult, because nature's like a concept. What adjectives do you use with science? I don't know. It's a tough question. Now, the thing is, we use natural a lot more when we're actually describing some beautiful natural scenery. There's a natural area. Sometimes we use nature itself as an adjective. A nature trail, for example, is a trail designated to help you identify different natural elements. That's a tough question.
Okay, sorry for that.
No, it's okay. It's just it's a very good question, actually. Just a tough one, that's all.
Bath or Beth? Beth.
Yeah.
Beth is one of my favorite.
Go ahead.
Is one of my favorite places. The river runs right through the center of the city.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. Okay, which of the remaining two could you also use? Only one of them is wrong.
It's possible to say the river leads the ocean.
No.
To the ocean.
The river leads to the ocean. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No,
yeah. Leads
that would be
to the ocean.
Right,
okay,
right.
Thank you.
Sure. How about this sentence? Is it okay? The river flows right through the center. The river leads right through the center. Which one is correct? Which one is wrong?
Flow is wrong.
I think flows right through the center is correct.
I think you're right. Yes. Again, just as your question leads to, something leads to something else. The path leads to the top of the mountain. The river leads to the ocean. Okay. Always we're going to co-locate leads with to, because, all right, it's bringing you in a direction, so that's why we have to use to. Germain, next sentence.
It's a very relaxing place, and at the weekend people sit picnic on the shore of the river.
Okay, on the shore of the river. Okay. That's the one that I guess is not supposed to be here. Because usually we use shore for a lake or a sea or an ocean, a big body of water. And by the way, we say bodies of water. A river, we don't usually use shore. But the side of the river is okay, or on the bank of the river. These river banks. It's very common. All right. The bank is the side of the river, like the shore in a lake. The bank of the river, okay, is the side. Okay. Claudio, number 3.
Oh, okay. And Costa Rica is one of the most beautiful places I have ever visited. Wherever you go, you can see the peaks of volcanoes, some of which are still active. Most active.
Yeah,
Most,
definitely. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Definitely active. A volcano's not alive. Volcanoes are active. If they're still going, okay. Right. Claudio, you said peaks of volcanoes. Yes, that's correct. How about the other two? You can see the tops. Tops.
Yes.
Right.
I guess that we could say.
Yeah, you can see the tops of volcanoes, the peaks of volcanoes. Ends of volcanoes is totally wrong. That's totally weird. And volcanoes are active. Oh, or what if they're not working, Claudio? If they're not active, what are they?
Inactive.
Okay. Inactive?
Inactive.
Well, yes, they could be. There's another word we often use.
We say sleep. I don't know.
Sleeping? Volcano sleeping? Okay. Well, that's kind of the idea. More commonly in English, we say the volcano is dormant. Kind of goes with the idea of sleeping. It could wake up again. Dormant volcanoes sometimes become active. If it's dormant, it's kind of like hibernating. Okay, it's like sleeping. That's right. Ali, next sentence. Oh, Ali's not here. Okay, Moam.
Yeah. Almost as soon as you leave town, you find yourself deep in the wood or jungle, and not in the rainforest. I don't know why, but it's like that.
Well, deep in the rainforest. No. You can use rainforest here.
Really?
Yeah, sure, because you're talking about Costa Rica. So you can find yourself deep in the rainforest or deep in the jungle, which jungle is really another word for rainforest. But we generally use wood for more temperate climates. Okay? Temperate meaning as opposed to Arctic or tropical or subtropical, like Europe or United States or Canada. Okay, we probably call it a wood. Not so much in the tropical climates like Costa Rica or Philippines, and here it's jungle or rainforest.
Okay. But we can say I was lost deep in the wood. Like in general, in a different context, we can use it in this way.
Yeah, I would say yes to that. Okay. Another side note here: landscape is a very difficult word to use correctly in English. Yes, it is, because we also landscape our gardens. Usually better to use countryside or scenery. Well, I would agree with that overall idea. Oh, okay. One last thing, real quick. We've just got a couple minutes. Let's identify some trees. Oh my God, what happened here? Okay, whoops. Some parts of plants, trees and flowers. Okay. What is this part? Xingyu, are you there?
And trunk.
The trunk. Excellent. And what is this thing? Edgardo.
A branch.
A branch. Excellent. By the way, all of these words are used very frequently in idiomatic language. That's a lesson for later. Heidi, number 3 is, of course,
Leaf.
a leaf. And
How about branch and twig?
sorry?
Branch and twig.
Twig. Okay, here's a branch, this thing. Here's a twig. You see the tiny one here? The little one. A twig is just a tiny, tiny branch. Okay? Basically. And here...
Okay,
you
could
know,
you type this word? This word I'd said before?
Sure. A twig is a tiny, tiny, tiny branch. And by the way...
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And a leaf is attached to a twig, which is attached to a branch. A leaf is attached to the twig by this thing here, which is a stem. Just the same as a plant, like a flower, like a rose, has a stem. Also, a leaf has a stem. That's the thing that attaches it to the tree, as does a fruit. Okay.
Okay, can I use twig besides anything but trees?
Well, bushes and trees, but not really plants.
Oh.
Plants, we would say they're stems. So, yeah, just trees and bushes, really.
Okay.
Okay.
The twig has a twig as well. Sorry, just to be clear. This point of the apple, the number 5, is a twig as well.
No, this is a stem. It attaches the fruit or the leaf stem. Okay, apple stem. This attaches it to a branch, or maybe to a twig. Stem. Yeah, I wrote that right. Yes. Okay. Number 4, of course. Julieta.
Roots.
Of course. Number 5 we've already discussed is the fruit, or probably an apple here. And number 6 is Max.
I don't. Blossom.
Blossom. Okay. When they're like this, when they haven't opened, it's a bud. When they're opened, it's a blossom. Like apple blossoms, cherry blossoms, they're on a tree. When the flowers haven't opened yet, they're called buds. Okay. We're out of time. I gotta go because I got another class coming right up. So thank you all very much.
Bye.
Hope you learned a little useful language. See you again soon.